There's a common thread between this week's shooting at a synagogue in Poway and the disrupted terror plot in Long Beach. Authorities say the accused used the internet to connect with like-minded extremists. Joining me to discuss this is Daryl Foxworth, a retired FBI special agent with 30 years of experience. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start out with this thwarted plot in Long Beach. The Department of Justice arrested a 26-year-old former U.S. Army soldier who was plotting to detonate improvised explosive devices at a white nationalist rally in Long Beach this weekend. We also heard from the DOJ that on March 2nd, this suspect posted a video online professing his Muslim faith, and he said America needs another Vegas event, obviously referencing the mass shooting that occurred in Las Vegas in October of 2017. It seems like both of these two suspects were using chat rooms to talk to other extremists. Are law enforcement monitoring these chat rooms?
Well, first let me say, when you look at both of these cases, they appear to have some similarities. The first thing is that it appears that they're both homegrown violent extremists. And what we're talking about individuals who are self-radicalized through the internet. And the problem with these cases, when you talk about these individuals, is that they're very hard to detect. You don't know when they're going to go out and connect that or commit that violent act.
And so even though these suspects aren't necessarily being tied to an organized group, they are using chat rooms. And in many cases, these chat rooms seem to be very popular with that kind of ideology. Is there a list of those kinds of chat rooms that federal agents are sort of surveying?
If there's a legal basis and they have lawful authority to go in and monitor, certain communications, then in connection with an investigation, then that's something that they consider, and that's something that they would do.
I mean, what can be done if people are actually making threats online? Is it actually a crime, or could people just claim that, hey, this is freedom of speech? And how do you know when a threat that's made online is actually a credible threat?
Yes, we always have to be aware of the civil liberties, and we have to be aware of freedom of speech. Sometimes we don't like what people are saying. You may not like it, I may not like it, but the thing is, that may be covered under freedom of speech. Where it crosses the line is when they start talking about doing specific actions with that, going out and doing something.
How much of this is being handled at the federal level, and how much communication is there between federal, state, and local authorities? We saw over the weekend this incident that happened in Poway. That's under the jurisdiction of the San Diego Sheriff's Department. Do those kinds of departments even have the resources to be monitoring extremist chat rooms, or are they relying on their federal partners?
I served for over 30 years and worked in a number of field offices in a number of different cities. And I can tell you that local law enforcement, they know their streets, they're out there conducting patrols, they know the neighborhoods, they know the communities. So they have that expertise locally, and it can't be undervalued. Federal resources come in. There's technology, there's resources that the FBI and other federal agencies may bring in, and you bring that together in this task force setting, and you maximize your efforts.
Well, Daryl Foxworth, I appreciate your insight into some of these questions.
Well, thank you for having me.